Our pigskin prognosticator, Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, goes 9-3 against the spread. The Vols come to Georgia. Can Tennessee win a game? And the Atlanta Falcons take their mojo to Minnesota. Plus injuries and fantasy football picks.
Play to Win is being brought to you by John Foy and Associates and Kia Mall of Georgia and Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Welcome to Play to Win with former Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith. Game analysis with Adam Brown. Fantasy Football League previews by Nikki Williams. Play to Win expert Jeffrey Schechter. Injury updates with Dr. Andrew Lalage. And your host, Atlanta sports veteran Bob Neal.
Our college football report is being brought to you by Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Kia Mall of Georgia.
Dr. Lalage and Adam Brown join us a little later in the show to talk about injuries and fantasy football. But right now, let's meet the panel. Here's Jeffrey the Ed Schechter,
Yes.
Nikki Williams. Chuck is right here ready to break down all the games. Chuck Smith, of course, the former great All-Pro with the Atlanta Falcons. But before we start, guys, I want to ask you about what we've learned. But first, Jeffrey, you went 9-3 against the spread. Anybody who knows anything better than 50%'s good. 60%'s really good, and you go 9-3. Must have been a lucrative week for you. Is that the money?
Thank you.
Forget about it.
It's a little light. Don't go nowhere. I want to talk to you after the show.
We'll see how you
Jeffrey.
do this week. And by the way, before we get started with our college football report, we're almost a quarter of the way through for some people in the college football season. What have we learned so far? What have you learned, Jeffrey?
If Arkansas continues to win and improve, LSU will come in last place in the SEC West.
LSU, who would have thought it? How about you, Nikki?
Wow.
Well, aside from Jeffrey being the aficionado on our picks, I am really surprised at FSU. I mean, these guys don't look like a number one team. Clemson and Oklahoma came down to the wire. Clemson overtime. I think if FSU had to play Oklahoma or Alabama in a neutral site, they lose.
Yeah, they play at North Carolina State. That's been problematic for a lot of teams up in North Carolina State. What have you learned so far, Chuck Smith?
Well, I've learned that Mississippi State quarterback Dak Prescott's going to have a say-so in the Heisman Trophy race.
Yeah, and you like another guy in the ACC,
yeah.
Georgia Tech, right here in Atlanta.
And we've talked about Justin Thomas, Georgia Tech's quarterback. He is lightning in a bottle, and he'll have something to say about who's going to play in that ACC championship.
All right, let's get started. Let's take a look at the key games that we have this week. You'll note when we list these that Georgia's not on there. We're going to talk about Georgia and Tennessee. The Vols come to Athens. We'll talk about them in our hometown team report. But some pretty good games there. As we take a look at that full slate, let's start with the East. And that is, of course, Missouri at South Carolina. Nikki, what do you think about that game?
I think South Carolina's defense is lagging a little bit. You Spurrier joked, pass rush, what's that? And he's not a funny guy. He means it.
All right, how about it?
Well, I think it comes down to the quarterback from Missouri, Matty Malk. And I think he's got to control the game. He's got to make passes downfield, and that's one of the challenges they've had. They put the ball in his hands, he's let them down, but against the South Carolina defense, they're worse than terrible. They're bad. I mean, they're as bad as it gets, and I think Missouri has a shot if they can throw the ball downfield. Quarterback's key.
All right, let's take a look at the SEC West. I want to get all of you to talk about this a little bit. The SEC West, you'll notice here the ranked teams. 6 of the 7 are ranked. Arkansas is playing at Texas A&M. If Arkansas were to beat Texas A&M this week, Arkansas would probably be ranked, and all 7 teams in the SEC West would be ranked. Have you ever seen a division of a conference that tough?
I've never seen a division that tough. And then when you look at Auburn, I mean, come on, they had a chance to win the national title last year. They got one of the hardest schedules in the history of college football. And I'm going to tell you this, but until someone truly matches up with Alabama, I still feel like Alabama is the best team in America right now with what I saw last week from the Tide.
The college football showdown of the week, brought to you by the Georgia Lottery.
Arkansas at Texas A&M. Arkansas 3-1, surprising some people, running the ball well, but A&M got off to a big start by beating South Carolina. Haven't played anybody yet. What's your thought on that game?
I think Arkansas is improving every week. A&M, great team. They're in Arsenal. but Arkansas also runs the ball.
And Nikki, what do you think about the game?
I think Arkansas's got an O-line that rivals some NFL O-lines in terms of size. These guys are huge. It's not the team that we saw last year. They've made a huge improvement. I think Arkansas's got a good chance when it comes to this game.
And Chuck Kenny Hill is the quarterback, of course, for Texas A&M. How do you see the game?
I think it's going to be a Trill Hill, and that's what he calls himself, Kenny Trill Hill. I think he's phenomenal. I think this is his coming out party for another opportunity for him to be up for the Heisman Trophy. We talked about 2 quarterbacks earlier, but I think Texas A&M is going to go wide open and air it out, and they're just too phenomenal. I really like what Texas A&M's doing down there. This offense is fantastic. They put up a big number, and I think they take it to Arkansas.
Okay, so you've already made one pick. Let's take a look at the 2 games that we've talked about so far and what you're picking, Jeffrey. And right there they are. You've got Arkansas plus 9.5.
Arkansas is improving. A&M has an arsenal. But I think Arkansas could also run the ball, keep the ball away from Texas A&M, take the 9.5.
And you like South Carolina minus the 5.5.
Both teams' defenses are mediocre. Missouri will give up more points than South Carolina. Give the 5.5 with South Carolina.
All right, those are Jeffrey's picks on the first 2. We'll be back in just a moment with our hometown team report. Stay with us on Play to Win.
The September savings event is going on now at Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Save $10,000 off the 2014 Ram Crew Cab, starting at only $25,999. A 2014 Dodge Charger is $9,000 off MSRP. And during Chrysler's Great American Drive event, get $6,000 off MSRP on a 2015 Chrysler 200. Savings all September long at Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or online at yourdodge.com.
With the new Cadillac Instant Ticket, you can win amazing cash prizes instantly. But that's just scratching the surface. You could win the ultimate prize. One of the most luxurious, stylish, innovative cars in the world. A new Cadillac. Play the new Cadillac Riches Scratcher from the Georgia Lottery, and you could win up to $250,000 or a brand new Cadillac.
Right after I got hurt in my car wreck, the other guy's insurance company offered to fix my car. They only offered me $750 for my injury, and they wanted me to sign this.
Don't sign anything until you've talked to me. I'm Attorney John Foy, the Strong Arm. You may be giving up tens of thousands of dollars by signing the insurance company's release form. Call me.
And they offered me this check for $1,000.
Don't take that check. Let me get you the money you deserve. Call on the Strong Arm.
Call Attorney John Foy, the Strong Arm.
There's nothing like the 2014 Nissan Sentra. It's sure to keep you and your friends moving and connected. Yeah, life at the top is pretty good. Choose the 40 MPG Sentra and save up to $1,500. It's a great choice. Nissan, innovation that excites. Shop at choosenissan.com.
Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, bringing a higher order of pizza to Atlanta for 40 years.
All right, by the way, we're going to have a Mellow Mushroom surprise a little bit later. I can tell you no more than that right now, but stay with us as we take a look at our Hometown Team Report. Only 2 of our 3 hometown teams are playing. Falcons will be going to Minnesota, Tennessee at Georgia. You notice Georgia Tech's not up there. That's because they're off this week. Still celebrating, guys, their big win at Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech is 4-0, Chuck.
Yeah, and I'm excited about the defense that showed up. I mean, Tech played well, but I'm going to tell you, Justin Thomas, the quarterback, he was phenomenal. Made plays with his arms and with his legs, and that's what Paul Johnson needed.
And Miami's coming to town.
Canes are coming. Big game. I'm fired up about Georgia Tech.
That'll be good. That'll probably be a big crowd down there, too. All right, now let's go, stay with college football, and let's go to the Georgia-Tennessee game. The Volunteers coming to Athens. Nikki, what do you think about this one?
I know you came to me, Bob, because this is my alma mater, and this is tough for me to say.
Yes.
This may be Tennessee's game. I know they're plagued with injuries right now. Yeah. Pearson, Smith, potentially without 2 of their top 5 receivers. But Georgia, man, they're having a tough time this year with their pass defense. They've got some issues they need to work out, even with that blowout last week.
Yeah. Well, the Vols got 5 new offensive linemen, but we are thankful that you wore your orange shirt today, though. I know it's got
that's your Tennessee.
You go big orange. Thank you. Appreciate that. But
Jeffrey, Rev, don't pick it yet, but tell me about this game. Is it possible that the Vols could beat Georgia?
Anything's possible when you play with Georgia, especially if you get into the 4th quarter and it's a close game. So, yeah, it is possible.
All right, and as you mentioned, Georgia runs the ball great. They've been throwing the ball really well, and their defense is really strong. You got to think that Georgia wins pretty big.
Yeah, and I think
even though it's your alma mater.
I think Jeffrey's had a few hits to the heads. Now, I am a Vol alumnus, so I'm going to tell you this. There's no way in the world that I believe at this point Tennessee's ready to go in there and beat Georgia. Tennessee's got the best linebacker, maybe the best football defensive player in the country in A.J. Johnson from Georgia at middle linebacker. But this is a game where Georgia said, we're going to show who we really are. They're going to run the ball, they're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball some more with those 3 running backs. And I think that's the deciding factor.
All right, Falcons go up to Minnesota, and I said it earlier in the show, they take their mojo to Minnesota. How do you feel about the Falcons' mojo, Miss?
I feel that I'm so excited they're getting out of town because we about blew Matt Ryan's eye out last week with our intro pyro. So I hope they have, I think they're in better hands in Minnesota. I hate to say it.
What's the key to the game?
Well, the key to the game for the Falcons is to protect Matt Ryan. This Minnesota defense, they played stout last week versus the Saints. It's really important about having great protection, and you want to see the Falcons rush the passer. They got a young quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, does Minnesota. You want to rattle him, get after him. So those are really the keys. The Falcons should win this game, Bob, if they want to consider themselves any kind of playoff team.
All right, let's go to Jeffrey's pick. Remember, Jeffrey, 9-3 against the spread last week. You are on a roll. I see you got Tennessee plus 17.5.
Georgia tends to play to the level of their competition. Last year, they went down to the end, scored a touchdown in the last minute, and then had to win the game in overtime. I disagree with Chuck. His alma mater is going to give Georgia a game. Take the 17.5.
Wow. And also, you mentioned something earlier about the Falcons-Minnesota game being maybe a trap game for Atlanta?
It's a cheap number. Atlanta should cover it.
Right.
But, they could be walking into an ambush. But I would give it 3. If the Falcons are going to have a good year, they need to win this game.
You were so good last week at your picks. We have a special surprise. We have Victor from Mellow Mushroom Pizza is here. Come on. Here comes Victor. Victor has pizza.
All 3 pieces.
And by the way, everybody, get your pizza right now because, of course, you're going to be watching football all day and all day tomorrow. By the way, you want to like share your pizzas, Jeffrey?
I thought you. Okay.
All right, pass those down. Let's get them down.
You need some more pizza.
All right, yeah, I need a more. Give me a whole pizza. I'm going to open mine up. We'll be right back. Mellow Mushroom, we love you. Whoops, yeah, there you go. Mellow Mushroom.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real Mellow Mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real Mellow Mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow Mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Your life moves fast, so when your plumbing goes bad, we know you want it fixed fast. I'm Tommy Estes, inviting you to see what we can provide with our plumbing services. We're dedicated to the same high standards of quality we've held ourselves to since 1949. From leak repairs to water pressure, from water heaters to toilet issues, Estes is dependable, proven, and ready to help. Call Estes and we'll fix it at the speed of life.
We'll fix it at the speed of life.
Today's Player Medical Report is being brought to you by Piedmont Healthcare, now a certified member of the MD Anderson Cancer Network.
Joined now by Dr. Andrew Lalage, the Chief Medical Officer at the Radiology Group. And by the way, I've also appointed you the Chief Medical Officer of Play to Win.
I'm honored.
All right. And by the way, the creator of InsideInjuries.com. You got to check that out if you're into sports, not just football, but it's great for football. By the way, you're 8-0 on your injury warnings. You've been doing a good job with that.
It's good and bad. It's good and bad, yes.
All right. Good and bad. Here's the bad news, but I'm good at telling you what the bad news is. All right. Now let's go to a couple of key names about this week who are listed as injured a little bit. What do you say?
Yeah, Calvin Johnson has a grade 1 ligament sprain. His ligaments are not torn, so 2 or 3 days off. He'll be starting this week, so I would start him this week. Also, E.J. Manuel. Right. He has an abdominal core injury, and just like Drew Brees had, but he'll be okay this week too. I would put him on the starting list.
All right, let's go to your grades now. First of all, T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton has been downgraded to a B. We expect him to be at 70% performance. He has an ankle injury, had a foot injury in 2013, and a quadricep strain in 2012.
Jonathan Stewart.
So Jonathan Stewart, he's been downgraded to a B-. He's at 65% performance. You know, we all see knee contusions. We see a bruise on our knee. When you have a bruise on the bone, it's going to be a little while before he comes back, so he's been downgraded as well.
All right, Kyle Rudolph.
So Kyle Rudolph as a tight end with a groin injury, that's really a hip flexor. You know, these guys have to block and get open to start, stop, as well as block. That groin injury is going to hurt him. His performance is down to about 60%.
All right, and finally, Arian Foster.
Arian Foster has been a ambulance, basically. He now has another hamstring. He's down to a D at 40%. He tore that hamstring in 2011. He is on my not start list this week, absolutely.
All right, Dr. Andrew Lalage. We're going to come back just a moment because this will fit right into this and get our fantasy report with Adam Brown. Stay with us on Play to Win.
Kia Mall of Georgia is building a new dealership to serve you, Atlanta. We're exploding the old building and the competition with the biggest savings of the year during our construction sale. Get a new 2015 Kia Sorento LX starting at only $19,997. Find a 2015 Kia Optima LX starting at only $17,997. All inventory drastically reduced and lenders are standing by with a 100% loan approval goal. Kia Mall of Georgia, 2.5 miles west of the Mall of Georgia, or online at lovemykia.com.
Today's injury report is brought to you by John Foy and Associates. If you've been injured in an accident, be sure to call John Foy, the strong arm. On our injury report, you're going to notice that a couple of tight ends are listed here. A lot of tight ends banged up. That happens a lot, of course, throughout the NFL season. But two I wanted to point out to you. Vernon Davis from San Francisco is questionable with an ankle, and Charles Clay with Miami also questionable with a knee. So there's the injury report, and now it is time for Adam Brown and Who's Hot and Who's Cold, brought to you by SD Services. And Adam, let's get right started with Who's Hot in the quarterbacks.
Phillip Rivers is hot this week. Jacksonville's defense is awful. Jags defense has given up 1,000 yards and 8 TDs passing this year.
Okay, running backs.
Running backs, let's talk about DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray has the most fantasy points of any running back this season going up against New Orleans defense.
I know you like Jeremy Maclin in the wide receiver group.
I do. He has a touchdown in every game this season. I think he's going to have another big week.
Okay, now, Who's Cold, brought to you by SD Services, of course. Who's cold this week?
Most people's first-round pick, Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy has 34 yards, 43 yards, and 36 yards, respectively, in the first 3 games with 0 touchdowns.
All right.
I think it's going to be cold again.
All right, yeah, cold. And the sleepers. You're good at this.
Well, I like Donald Brown this week, filling in for Ryan Matthews, playing against Jacksonville's defense, who are giving up 30.4 points a game to opposing running backs.
Okay, now this is one of 2 weeks in the NFL season where 6 teams are not playing, have bye weeks. So let's take a look at those teams: Arizona, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Denver, Seattle, and St. Louis.
A lot of firepower.
That means, yeah, a lot of firepower won't be playing, so you got to get some replacements. Let's start with the quarterbacks.
3 young players. Let's go with Blake Bortles this week for Jacksonville getting his first NFL start.
Okay, how about the running back situation?
Like Alfred Blue down in Houston. Houston has problems with Arian Foster. Alfred Blue's a nice fill-in.
I like bye week bargain, wide receivers.
Wide receivers, we can go with Jordan Matthews in Philadelphia, but let's go with Jeremy Curley for the Jets with Eric Decker hurt.
Give me one of those. Great job once again by Adam Brown. You need to listen to this guy on your fantasy football picks. He is on fire.
Good luck.
We'll be back in a moment to talk about NFL. So stay with us on Play to Win.
Your life moves fast, so when you want it fixed, we know you want it fixed fast. I'm Brian Estes with Estes Services, and Estes will fix it at the speed of life. Go to EstesAir.com and see what we can do for you with our heating and air residential services. Your factory authorized carrier dealer is dependable, proven, and ready to help. Save energy and money with a dual fuel system from Estes Services.
We're Estes Services. We'll fix it at the speed of life.
Right after I got hurt in my car wreck, the other guy's insurance company offered to fix my car, but they only offered me $750 for my injuries, and then they wanted me to sign this.
Don't sign anything until you've talked to me. I'm attorney John Foy, the strong arm. you may be giving up tens of thousands of dollars by signing the insurance company's release form. Call me.
That same day, the insurance company said they will fix my car and offered me this check for $600.
Don't take that check. Let me get you the money you deserve. Call in the strong arm.
The NFL Report is brought to you by the Greater Atlanta Nissan dealers. Innovation that excites.
Time to talk some NFL now. Back with Jeffrey, Nikki, and Chuck. And Nikki, I know that you're particularly interested in that Carolina-Baltimore game.
Yeah, you know why?
Why? I wonder.
One name, Steve Smith.
Yeah.
He promised if he ever saw the Panthers again, there was going to be blood. He literally said, wear your goggles. Now, he did say that if he was playing them at Bank of America Stadium, as we know they're not, but he has promised guts and glory, and I'm excited about it, as sinister as it sounds.
All right, let's take a look. Here are the games that are big in our opinion. Let's go right down the list.
The Green Bay Packers aren't living up to their expectations. One of the worst defenses in the NFL, can't stop the run. Matt Forte comes out of his shell. I think the Bears have a good day.
All right, how about the Panthers-Ravens? How do you see that one?
Well, I'm not worried about Steve Smith talking smack. This is all about Kelvin Benjamin and Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton lights it up, but the Ravens have a tough defense. But I think, Cam kind of keeps the Panthers rolling. The Eagles have been phenomenal. Darren Sproles has been the MVP of that offense, I believe. But this is really about Colin Kaepernick, a team that's built to win the Super Bowl. He's got to manage the game. They got to pull the reins in a little bit, run the ball, let Kaepernick kind of manage the game.
All right, Saints lost their first 2 games. Now they're going to play Dallas.
Well, the Cowboys need to run the ball with DeMarco Murray. That's who they are. That's their DNA. But I'll tell you this, man. The New Orleans Saints, they've talked about this great defense they have. Rob Ryan's kind of backed up against the wall. The defense stinks this year.
All right, we're talking about the NFL off the field, of course, is all about the domestic violence charges. The talk is dimmed a little this week. But here's a question. We go to our 68 seconds with 680 and Chris Domino, who has this to say about, is the NFL a permanent golden goose or not?
Hey guys, look, the NFL has a lot going for it, but so did the Roman Empire and every empire that's fallen over the course of time. What you don't want to do is inch closer to fat, lazy, where all of a sudden people don't care about you as much. They're not there yet, even with the stupidity of players, owners, and now the commissioner. We can actually throw all that aside because the next man up mentality, it also counts for us, the fan. Retirement, suspension, injury, we just want to know, are you going to be playing football on Sunday and Monday and Thursday night? They're still doing that stuff. And as long as football is the sport we want it to be, and let's be honest, we want it to be guys throwing themselves around like missiles. They're starting to inch away. I think that problem could be a bigger one for the NFL than the stupidity problem. Again, don't set yourself up to be overrun by the competition. The NFL hasn't seen competition yet. But the minute people realize there's only 12 minutes of football in a 3-hour-plus day of NFL football, you're also going to realize now that I can maybe find a replacement as long as you make the game the game. Guys hitting each other as hard as they can. The 1% of the 1% of the 1% elite doing what we want them to do, putting their body at harm's risk, then we're going to be okay. Other than that, the NFL will find themselves perhaps in a place they don't want to be. Back to you guys.
All right, love having our guys from 680 on. Chris Domino with some interesting thoughts about the National Football League. Time to pick the games now. Jeffrey, how do you see it in the NFL?
Green Bay's a 1.5-point favorite at Chicago. Green Bay's lucky to be 1-2. Chicago's 2-1, could easily be 3-0. I never thought I'd say it. Chicago has a great offense. Take the Bears in the 1.5. Philadelphia at San Fran. Philadelphia's lived dangerously these first 3 games. I wouldn't live that way against San Francisco. I think San Francisco gets back on track. Give the 5. New Orleans 3 over Dallas. New Orleans is 1-2, lost 2 tough games. Dallas is 2-1, beat 2 bad teams. I think the world gets back to normal. Give the 3 with New Orleans.
All right, Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, by the way, 65%, 29-15 on the season. Oh, yeah. We're going to come back to the lightning round in a moment. Jeffrey the Edge. And by the way, all of his picks, fantasy, and a lot more, including Bob's blog, on playingtowin.tv. Check out our website. We'll be right back.
The 2014 Nissan Altima with up to 270 horses, blind spot warning, and advanced drive assist. Choose the 38 MPG Altima and save up to $2,500. Nothing beats an Altima, except another Altima. Innovation that excites. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
Introducing the new Walking Dead Scratcher from the Georgia Lottery. With a chance to win up to $50,000. You'd better get them before they get you.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's right.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow Mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
All right, time for the lightning round with Jeffrey the Edge Schechter. Listen fast because we're whipping right through this on the lightning round. We're starting in college with Colorado State at BC, Jeffrey.
Boston College beat Southern Cal, so now they should kill Colorado State. Doesn't work that way. Take the Rams with the 9 points.
All right, Duke at Miami.
Duke is a good, solid football team. Miami is struggling. Take the 7 generous points with the Blue Devils.
Notre Dame and Syracuse, by the way, neutral site game.
I can't understand this number. It's 9.5. It's like stealing. It's so cheap, it's scary. Notre Dame should kill Syracuse. Give the 9.5.
Carolina, Baltimore.
I like Carolina with the points. Take
All
the
right.
3.5.
And how about this? The Jets are a home team underdog.
The Jets defense will chase Matthew Stafford right out of the Meadowlands, send them back to Detroit with a loss. Take the Jets with the 1.5.
All right, you like Indianapolis over Tennessee?
Indianapolis will score a lot of points. Tennessee can't score a lot of points. Give the 7.5 with Indianapolis.
All right, listen to this, man. He was 9-3 last week, 29-15 on the season. Is the Edge? How about that one? And now we have our injury warning, caution, or good news from Dr. Andrew Lalage for this week's fantasy leagues.
Healthy backup running backs. You have Kyrie Robinson, Le'Veon Bell, and Devonta Freeman. I would start them this week. They are healthy.
For Chris Domino from 680, who gives us our commentary today, Adam Brown, Dr. Lalage, Nikki, Chuck, I'm Bob. Remember to check us on playingtowin.tv. All kinds of stuff on there, including Jeffrey's picks and fantasy football. We'll see you next week at noon on Play to Win.
Today's show has been brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers and the Greater Atlanta Nissan Dealers.